So, if you're an artist that posts your art on the internet, odds are you've probably gotten a hate comment before. It sucks, but it's pretty normal, right? Even if you're not an artist, basically any kind of content you post on the internet, odds are you've gotten a hate comment at least once in your life. I touched on it briefly in my art fight video, but the toxic art communities developing across social media take that to a whole new extreme. I hate that it's become so normalized to bully artists over their art style to the point where they give up and stop posting because the hate is just too much. I saw it with Pastel Spider, someone's Spider-Verse OC. I saw it most recently with an artist on TikTok named Cassie Pillar, and I've seen it time and time again with countless others. For some reason, TikTok especially has been developing art lore where they take an artist, usually a beginner, and turn them into a meme that becomes an echo chamber across other artists' videos and are usually overused insults. Comments like art progression and rendering process dominate artist comment sections, and it's insane. It is genuinely so ridiculous how artists are treated on the internet, and I definitely feel like it's gotten worse over the years. Recently, I fell victim to the rendering process comment, and I didn't even know what it was. I naively thought that this person was just asking me for a speed paint, and I happily replied to them saying that I would post one. And then when I figured out it was a horrible meme that people are using to perpetuate the bullying of artists over their art style, I was honestly pretty mad. And if you're like me, and had no clue what that means, it's basically from a TikTok posted a while ago in like 2020, I think, of an artist showing the before and after of their drawing, and the text in the video says rendering process. The proportions are a little off, the eyes are a little bit too far up, whatever, it's not a big deal. But for some reason that video went viral and now everyone uses it as a lame, unoriginal insult because they have nothing better to do. They're basically just saying, haha, art look bad, you suck, and obviously have no idea how to actually give helpful criticism. And that to me brings up the bigger issue of people giving unsolicited art advice or critiques to begin with. I feel like it's a pretty unpopular opinion, but if I as an artist am doing art as a hobby and I post that on the internet, I'm not necessarily looking for comments to tell me how to do it better. I know that some artists are fine with criticism as long as it's nice and actually helpful, but I think that the reason it bothers me so much is because most of the criticism that I get is just thinly veiled insults, or pointing out all of my art's flaws without genuine advice on how to fix it. Even if you are generally well-meaning, criticism is useless if it's unhelpful and/or unwanted. If it's unhelpful, obviously someone looking to improve won't be able to without genuinely good advice. And if it's unwanted, at best you're just going to get ignored, and at worst you may damage an artist's self-esteem. Personally, I'm a really sensitive person, and getting comments picking my art apart, even if well-intended, doesn't really make me feel good. I also just can't really stand getting advice from people that are not artists. And I know that it's not required to be an artist to give criticisms on art, but a lot of the time they just have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Just because you can give advice doesn't mean that it's good advice or that people should listen to you. If you love realism and you go around telling every artist that anything other than realism is a waste of time, obviously that's not good advice. I see a lot of people being attacked for their very stylized art style, and it's just super annoying because realism is not what every artist should strive for. It's become a huge problem in the art community, and obviously getting comments on your art from someone that doesn't like your art style and is telling you that you should change it or you could have done this better has the potential to be really damaging. I can totally see how that would ruin someone's confidence, especially if they're a beginner. That's why I am of the opinion that there's not really any reason to give a hobby artist advice unless they specifically ask for it. And there's obviously a genuine difference between troll comments, or as I said earlier, thinly veiled insults disguised as advice, but that kind of behavior is just so normalized that even if you are looking to improve, odds are you won't actually get genuine helpful criticisms. Another thing is that not all artists are looking to improve. Critiques in general assume that you're wanting to improve. And like I said, if you're just a hobby artist making stuff for fun, then you likely just want to be able to share your art without constantly being told how you can make whatever aspect of your art better. You don't have to constantly be working at improving to enjoy making art. And honestly, it's something that just kind of happens naturally the more that you make art anyway. There's nothing wrong at all with wanting to hone your skills and make your art look better, but not everyone wants to do that. You don't have to participate in things at a professional level for it to be worthwhile. I just really can't stand people justifying that kind of behavior by saying, oh, well, you post your art on the internet, so you're gonna get criticism on it. Yes, you should unfortunately be prepared to get critical or negative comments and be able to just delete them or move on. But this way of thinking is just so arrogant to me. You're just basically assuming that the artist posted their art solely to get feedback on it and that they specifically want your advice. I share my art because I enjoy making it and I want to connect with people that enjoy it too. Not because I'm constantly looking to improve or because I want to tailor my art to your specific tastes. Just because you can leave a comment like that doesn't mean that you should. And if you go out of your way to give advice when you were told not to, don't be offended when no one wants to listen. Which is another point, all art is subjective anyway. What you might like, someone else might not like, and everyone is entitled to their own tastes. But I am just so sick and tired of seeing artists picked apart in their own comment sections about their art style because it's unique. Obviously, criticisms that tell you to just do anatomy better or draw this part different or whatever else is not helpful, because that's just your art style and you shouldn't have to change it because someone doesn't like it for some reason. It's like when you take art in high school and the only acceptable thing that you can draw is realism. It feels like no one has an appreciation for stylized art anymore. All art should apparently look the same or it's bad. Let artists make bad art. Let them experiment with their style and learn how to do things their own way, and only offer them advice if they ask for it. Everyone starts somewhere, and you're definitely not going to improve by being dogpiled in your own comment section about how much your art sucks. The only scenario that I think it's valid to give artists criticism when they didn't ask is if they're doing something harmful or offensive. Whether they know they're doing it or not, yes, that's fair to call them out on it. But if it's not either of those things and your criticism is wholly unhelpful, then just shut up and don't say anything. You could have the most well thought out, respectful criticism of someone's art, but if they don't want it, you're not being helpful. It's not hard to be respectful towards artists' boundaries, and I don't know why that's so difficult for some people to grasp. Some artists aren't in a place where they can accept criticism, and that's fine, they don't need to be. Of course, barring what I just said about if their art is harmful, then they need to be called out and given criticism, but if they're just minding their own business, let them be. Obviously, every artist is entitled to their own opinion on criticism, but I personally just don't care for it because most of the time it is so unhelpful and unsolicited. Like I said, this happens to everyone. Everyone gets hate comments or unwanted art advice, but obviously it can be especially damaging to beginners who are just starting out on their art journey and get people leaving overused art lore insults. I know that I'm lumping in the negative comments with the positive ones that are genuinely trying to help, but bottom line, if your criticism is unwanted, then you shouldn't be handing it out. Yes, intentions do matter, but not every artist is in a place where they can accept criticism of their work and be willing to improve. As an artist in the art community, I feel that we should call out harmful and toxic behaviors instead of just letting the cycle continue. In the same kind of vein as the "you post art on the internet, so deal with the criticism" comments, I also get comments whenever I bring attention to these issues just saying, "Oh, welcome to the internet, this is how it is." Okay, and why are we not trying to change that? Why are we not trying to do anything about it, and why is it okay for that to happen over and over again? We should be able to call out and talk about issues within our own communities to make them better for everybody. I've seen a couple other creators bring this aspect up as well, but when you bully an artist off the internet, with the rise of AI-generated art, I could totally see them deciding to turn to that instead, as problematic as it is. If you constantly tell someone that they're not good enough, then there's a very real possibility that they will turn to using generative AI because it's a tempting solution to their problem. Artists just aren't allowed to be beginners or make bad art anymore without being torn apart for it. They'll see that, well, it's better than what I can do and people don't like it when I take the time to learn, so I just won't. Which, of course, AI is another topic for another video. I could go on for hours about how much I hate it. But yeah, like this trend of bullying artists, and especially beginner artists in particular, is just so disgusting and gross on so many levels, and it needs to be unnormalized. If you're a fellow artist, let me know your opinion on unwanted criticism. If you can be nice and respectful in the comments, I would love to hear other people's point of views. It just feels like the majority of artists are told that they should be fine with receiving criticism, and that's just not always the case. It's a little funny because my channel has kind of turned into a let me rant about this topic with my little PNG tuber on the screen or a speed paint in the background, but I like making these videos, it's fun. I don't know if they're fun to watch, but I do enjoy making them. If you would like to see me rant about AI-generated art in another video, I can do that too. But yeah, the purpose of this video was not to bash anyone. It was not to say that no artist should be accepting of criticism. At the end of the day, you're okay with whatever you're okay with, and that's fine. I just kind of wanted to give insight into why I personally don't think unwanted criticism is okay to give out. Let me know what you think. Bye!